Hi, my name's Pat Regan. I'm an author and campaigner and researcher. I've been asked to do a sort of smallish interview by a friend from UFO Reporter 51, if I've got the site right. Not just about UFOs, that was my first UFO book, UFO The Search for Truth, but other matters that sort of come into my writing. Right, let's see what happens. What first inspired me to start writing books?
I was rubbish at maths at school, absolute rubbish. I always used to have a competition with a friend of mine who, it was either me or him who was bottom of the class at maths. We were not good at maths.
But English, history, that type of thing I was always very interested in. What inspired me to start writing books, I've jotted down a few answers on here just to sort of prime me with. I'd say my first method of self-expression was painting. Used to paint every day, loved painting. Later I discovered that the written word was something that I could use to good effect. My original inspiration possibly came sort of via looking for the truth of life. Even as a child I was always looking for the truth of life. It was almost an obsession. When all the kids were kicking footballs around on playing fields or playing rugby, I'd be in a corner looking at insects and spiders and butterflies. I was always totally fixated with nature.
I'd say that because I was sent to a Catholic school, which I found very repressive, I started looking for
inspiration because I just knew it wasn't the right way. Not for me anyway, it was not the right way for me. What was being force-fed, the dogma, the strict nature of it all, the man-made aspect of it, I found totally alien. So I started writing things. Even as a kid I was writing things. Something told me that the truth resided in nature.
It wasn't found in any man-made chapel made of brick, stone, mortar, what have you. It was in nature, it was in the trees, it was in the hillsides. That's where I found original inspiration to start writing books. Right, what sort of subject do I write about? I write about life, basically, with a capital L. I'm not wedged on any particular subject. I've covered all sorts of things over the years. Politics, the ecosystem, which I feel strongly about being a pagan.
Spirituality, our native spirituality of well, not just the UK, not just the British Isles, spirituality of the whole world really, our native spirituality from Stone Age onwards if you like, or even beyond then. That is what interests me. I'm also an angler, specifically interested in vintage tackle, the old cane rods, that type of thing. I make the odd rod, I make floats as well, so I write about that. When it comes to the UFO situation, life's just
thrown me into that situation really, and what I tend to do is record things. I don't make any hard judgments about what I write about. I listen to people's stories, because when I first started the first book, UFO The Search for Truth, I was getting international reports from the public coming in all over the place. Somehow a lot of other people sort of latched on to what I was doing. All sorts of good people, good help from people like Nick Pope and Lloyd Pye, who did the Star Child project. Lots and lots of good people. I was interviewed by the UFO hunters that came from the History Channel, and I think it was Los Angeles, the UFO people. They came over here and interviewed me in Rufford in Lancashire, and I was logging all this down at the time. So what I did was I actually turned it into a book, because I tend to turn things into a book if they impress me or motivate me in some way. So am I stuck on any particular subject? No, I'm always open to suggestions, and what comes my way I write about. I'd say it was as simple as that really. I campaign about various issues. I feel strongly about the countryside. I think we're destroying the countryside at an alarming rate. I think we're actually robbing our youth of the chance to enjoy the countryside, which we took for granted as kids.
Yeah, we need houses, I know that, but maybe we should be building upwards and saving land rather than going outwards. There's all sorts of things, lots and lots of different subjects I feel strongly about. Ecology, the wildlife, ufology, the angling, it all tends to come together as a concern for the environment, which me being a pagan, I feel very, very strongly about. I feel that people are so dismissive these days. They stick themselves in the little guarded TV system, whereas everything's a screen on a wall. They lock themselves into that. They sit down, stuff their face full of pizza, forget the world around them, go to work, come home, do the same thing again.
That's their life. Go away for some Spanish holiday. They're not really interested in what's happening on the doorstep where they live. It's somebody else's problem, and it's not somebody else's problem, it's everybody's problem. So I do get passionate about these things because I feel strongly about the environment. There are a few good people who are doing good things for the environment, and these are the people you need to listen to. When I was a kid, it was people like Jack Hargreaves, who was a countryside campaigner, an angler, great countryman. People like that impressed me. So anyway, yeah, that's how I feel about that sort of situation as it is. Okay, B, thanks very much for you. Yeah, ufology. I don't think I'm ever going to escape ufology, even if I wanted to, because I've written 2 books on it, and there's a good chance that one day I may do another one.
Because the people are always writing to me with UFO reports, and I do log them down. I tend to blog a lot of them because I'm quite an avid blogger. Seems to run in the family. What do I think about it? Well, like I say, it's a huge axis, the UFO one. It covers many questions. I mean, a UFO, an unidentified flying object, people often say, oh yeah, UFOs don't exist. Well, that's such a stupid thing to say, because if someone throws something up in the air, you don't see it, you turn around, you do see it, you don't know what it is, it's a UFO because it's gone past you. It's an unidentified flying object. Until it's got an identity latched to it, you do not know what it is. Right, that's one thing. What do I think about, have we been visited by extraterrestrials? Well, I would have laughed at that situation once, that suggestion. Have we been? Yeah, I would say most definitely. I mean, the universe is massive. If there are intergalactic space travellers, who knows? They may use this place as a stopping off place. They may even be still here today. We don't really know.
There's so many different levels of existence. There's, the spiritual, the etheric, the physical, so many different levels of existence, and just because we can't see something doesn't mean to say that it's not real. A propeller spins at such a speed that we can't actually see it, but if we stick our hand into it, we're going to find out it's a real thing, because it's going to take our hand off, but we're not seeing it until we actually touch it. So it's a big issue. There's the well trotted out disclosure issue. A lot of people get very amusing, really, because they think it's such a big thing that we're not being told things by governments. Actually, having dealt with a lot of councillors and a lot of really stupid politicians over the years, I can tell you one thing: they're interested in the pockets. That's one of the main things. They're interested in the pockets, and they're interested in votes. That's what they're interested in. The thought that they're absolutely obsessed about some shrewdly kept secret about UFOs is very suspicious to me, with my experience. If you want to go ahead and believe that everybody knows all these great things behind the scenes, Area 51, all this, okay, that's fine, but I think, yeah, there will be some government secrets, fair enough, maybe there's good reason for it, I don't know. I do know, I've had stories come to me about people who've seen things, extraterrestrial beings, UFOs,
and they've actually gone on to have visitations from official people that they can't explain, in England, in Wales, in America, Canada, all over the place. These things have happened, and I will admit that's a true thing. But to think that there's this great big conspiracy theory of silence is a bit suspicious to me, because I know a lot of politicians are a lot more stupid than you can possibly ever imagine them to be.
That's one thing. A lot of politicians have got a vested interest in promoting myths such as this. It keeps the public off their backs. It's a very big subject, but have we been visited before?
I wrote something in UFO The Search for Truth, and I probably carried it into the next one, UFO The Search Continues, about the alien mom excess, whereas things had landed in Siberia. Later on, people with incredibly long fingers were discovered. Was it an extraterrestrial interbreeding with humans? We're not sure, but it could well have been, and I'm open to suggestions about these things. I've written loads about them. I'm not the greatest talker in the world. It's not what I do. I write. That's what I am, a writer. But it's a very big subject, so make of it what you will. Yeah, the MOD closed its hotline. I think it was 2009. There was a lot of people upset about it at the time. I wrote about it, Nick Pope wrote about it, a lot of other people wrote about it. I think there was something over the years, there was something like 12,000 reports. Most of them were identified. There was about 5% weren't identified. It was the 5%, if that was what the figure is, I'm only just ad-libbing here. It's the 5% that weren't identified, which we're very interested in. That is what we want to know. And the fact that the MOD had a facility which they shut down because of trying to save a few bob here and there, cost-cutting exercise, seemed very, very silly to a lot of us, because the public, if they see something in the sky and they're very impressed with whatever they've seen, shocked or amazed, they need some official outlet to tell about this, because we need to know what's going on in our airspace up there.
If we're out on walking the dog one dark night and suddenly some green disc flies over us and it looks very suspicious, what do? Okay, we go home, we tell the press the next day, they think, aha, yeah, another cranky, another crazy person, fair enough. Do we ring the police? Do we ring the Coast Guard? Police? Well, I've rung the police about UFOs before. Actually, they're very interested in it, but then again, you might get some who will turn around and say, oh yeah, another crank, forget it. We need somewhere to report UFOs to. We need somewhere where we can say we've seen something. What is it? It's in our sovereign airspace. We need to know what it is. Could be a terrorist drone. Could be an extraterrestrial, could be nothing, could be an aircraft. But until we know it's a UFO, and it could be a potential threat, that is the main thing. So yeah, we should have some official monitoring body that looks after. Am I currently writing anything, and what is it about? Yeah, I'm currently writing in my sleep. I never stop writing. It's what I do. I'm a writer. I'm not one of these part-time writers. I write all the time. If I'm out in the countryside, I'm still writing in my mind. I'm always looking for something to write about.
I take my camera everywhere with me too. I'm a photographer. I tend to take pictures of everything. If I see something and it presses me, shocks me, delights me, I'll probably write about it somewhere or for somebody. Do a lot of blogging as well. What am I writing about at the moment? Well, articles. I write for places like UFO Digest. I write for online news sites, all sorts of things like that. The book I'm writing at the moment, this was a pagan book. I've written a couple of pagan books. This was the New Pagan Handbook. You can see that one, which was about the pagan heritage of the British Isles, that type of thing. It's been quite well received. Good publisher as well. But the thing is, I'm writing another one about our pagan heritage. I'm very interested in what influenced the spirituality of the British Isles,
and thus everywhere else, because the people from the British Isles, the Celtic people, the Nordic people that invaded the Vikings, the Saxons, the Romans before all this, they all had an influence on the British Isles. So in a spiritual sense, the British Isles has got a lot of original spirituality. So people may just look at the next book and say, oh yeah, it's only about the British Isles. It's not just about the British Isles. If it's related to the British Isles and it's spiritual, it's probably going to affect America, New Zealand, India, anywhere around the world, because so much came from this country originally, like I say, with the Celtic people, then the Romans, the Saxons, the Vikings, on and on and on and on. So we need to understand it came from here. Right. So, yeah, that's the New Pagan Handbook. I've written a few pagan books, thanks. What advice would I give to any aspiring writer? Well, I won't say I'm a great expert to give anybody advice about anything really. I just write what I want to write. I would say to any aspiring writer, the main thing is be passionate about what you write about. Don't just do it because you want to make a few quid or dollars, bucks, whatever. Don't do it just for money. If you do it just for money, then you'll probably fail at the first hurdle. You've got to do it because you want to say something and you want people to listen. With me, it's always been a case of, apart from one novel, which was done quite a while ago, one novel called Peter Swift and the Secret of Junonia, time travel ghost story novel, which I really enjoyed doing. Apart from that, semi-fictitious book. All the other books, I think I'm on number 9 at the moment. Yeah, all the other books, apart from the Peter Swift one, were factual books. I'd say right from the heart, be passionate. Say what needs to be said, and when you get publishers who say no, go to another one, find another one, and keep at it until you find one. I've never paid a penny in my life to get a book published. some people go into for vanity publishing. It's not for me, it might be for you, but if you can find somebody who likes what you're doing, then you're obviously doing the right thing, and stick with it really. Basically that's the thing, stick with it and keep with it and be passionate. Thanks. Yeah, Peter Swift and the Secret of Junonia, that was a total break for me. I really enjoyed doing it. Some people say I'm a controversial writer because I write about things that I feel that matter and need to be said. Peter Swift was very much an escapist for me. It was really great. Involved a lot of things I know about life. A lot of places I've been to. Old rural Lancashire, which I love as a fly fisherman. A lot of that came into Peter Swift. Peter Swift was a book that took me to places that I'd been to before and showed me places that I'd not seen before. There was quite a few revelations, and I got the feeling I wasn't alone when I did Peter Swift. It was it was a spiritual book as well in many ways for me. How other people find it I don't know, but politicians even have said to me, I like that book, it was a good book, and they've not even looked at my other books. For some reason people get something out of Peter Swift. I'm not sure what it is, but will I make a follow-up to it? Well, may well do one day, who knows, don't know. I tend not to plan things, just see what happens. Maybe I will. Are we alone in the universe? No, of course we're not. Don't be silly. That's the most stupid thing I've ever heard in my life. Absolutely stupid. Anyone who thinks that we're alone in the universe, or at least further than that, must be terminally stupid in my opinion, because the universe is perpetual. It goes on forever. We can't get our heads around it. It's timeless, it's spaceless, it goes on forever. So to say that, oh yeah, we're just here, well, to be honest, that is like talking to I don't know, a zombie or something. I could not understand that at all. At all. We've not been alone, and we're never alone. We never will be alone. What was I going to say? I think the main thing is if we can refrain from blowing each other's heads off through political means and religious fundamentalism, I think that there's great things in store for the human race. If we can escape that global killer which could come along and smash things to pieces like allegedly it did with the dinosaurs, yeah, we could go to great places. We need to be looking up. Instead of spending money on missiles and bombs and rockets and hate, we need to be getting out there into the universe and searching for new worlds. Sound like Captain Kirk here, but this is what we really need to do. We need to get out there, we need to search for new worlds, because one day this one may be under threat, either from ourselves, from disease, from plague, from religious stupidity, fingers on nuclear buttons, who knows. We need to get out there before it's too late. Use some of this to get up there. That's what we need. Yeah, I've got lots of interests and passions, as you say. Yeah, lots of interests and passions. I love photography. I've been a painter for many years. I've not painted for quite a long time. Life is just so busy. It's got too computerised, I suppose. Spend a lot of time blogging as well. Writing, of course. All sorts of crazy things as well. Bit of weightlifting, taking the dog out. So many things. Tying flies to catch fish with. Lots and lots of interesting things like that. I also make traditional floats, sell a few on eBay, use a lot myself, that type of thing. Yeah, I've got lots of interests. The ecosystem, the environment interests me a lot, but I take one day as it comes, and yeah, lots of interests in life. Who inspires me? Well, that's a big question, isn't it? I think the answer's going to be very short though, because Mother Nature inspires me. The old gods of the landscape inspire me. As a kid I used to rush home. I was very inspired by Jack Hargreaves, who was the great countryside campaigner. I know I've got friends who are very similar. They'd all rush home, watch Jack Hargreaves, because he was a quiet man. He'd be there smoking his pipe in his shed, talking about the old things with horses, with hunting and fishing in the countryside. Very much a man of the country. I think he had a great influence on me as a kid, like other people. Bernard Venables, who went on to make the Mr. Crabtree fishing series of cartoon books. Those type of people. Grew up with the old black and white books of the countryside. A lot of that stayed with me, but like I say, it's a spiritual thing for me. The inspiration comes from nature itself, comes from the environment, comes from the trees and the mountains and the rivers. Okay, thanks very much. I'd also like to thank Scott Williams-Collier for posing the questions, and also Vincent Regan, my one and only, well, not my one and only son, my youngest son, for the great video work which he's getting very good at these days. Cheers, bye guys, thanks. These are a couple of my books. That's about UFOs, that's about paganism. I've only got 2 here because I can't find the other ones. I've got a few around the house. I've not actually bought some because I have to buy them. As a writer, I have to buy some from Amazon myself if I want to read my own books, rather than the ones I've got on my computer. I've got to buy them from Amazon. Right, like most people do, but you can buy them from bookshops. You can buy them all over the place, as long as you've got the old ISBN number at the back. You can usually find them, and you can find them on my websites as well, which I've got quite a few of. I think I'm currently on the 9th book. These are just 2 of the earlier ones.